Hello students, welcome back to Maths Genie, and this is part 2 of the video of conic sections, and we are going to discuss ellipse in details today. So this is the flow of the video. If you know some parts already, you can skip it, but I advise not to skip. So we are going to look at interesting applications of ellipse. Then you're going to learn ellipse using circle because you have been studying circle since your childhood, and it will be very easy for you to understand ellipse if you know circle. Then how to identify major and minor axis. This is going to be very helpful for you to solve any question. And we're going to see different graphs. I have like 5 to 6 graphs to show you how ellipse changes. Then we're going to look at a theorem on relationship between all the parts of ellipse. Then we're going to look at eccentricity in details. We're going to derive lattice rectum. And at the end, do not miss this part, which is the summary chart. Okay. Now let's look at the applications first and we'll understand why we need ellipse in life. Okay. So this image that you see on the screen, this is the Whispering Hall. Now what is so special about this Whispering Hall? If there's a person standing at this side, if there's a person standing at this side of the hall and there's a person standing at the other corner of the hall and he's whispering something, whispering as in saying something in a very lower voice. I am whispering, so saying something in a very lower voice. So why does that happen is I'm whispering here and I can hear something here. Why? Because there is an elliptical doom, the elliptical doom. And what is the property of ellipse because of which it is happening? These two people is nothing but, see, this person and this person, this is called as foci 1, this is foci 2. So distance between foci always remains the same. What does this property of ellipse means? We're going to study with this beautiful example. This is this person 1, this is this person 2. Even if this distance between, the distance is going to remain the same. For example, the distance between the hall, this distance was 100. Even this distance is 100. Why? Because it is originating from the two foci. Okay. Let me show you another example. If this distance originating from foci, this is also going to be 100. So because of this property of ellipse, we can hear sound from one corner to other even if the sound is very low. And this is in Washington DC. One more very interesting application in medical. You all know about kidney stones, and this process is called as lithotripsy. What is lithotripsy? When we don't want to get operation for removing kidney stones, and we want to remove kidney stones without operations from outside the body, we use this device called lithotripter. What does this do? This is that device. Okay, and this device emits sound beams. Okay, and this is the kidney stone. So for example, in ellipse, this is your foci 1, this is your foci 1, this kidney stone is your foci 2. Now I want to destroy this kidney stones. How will I destroy this? By sending impulses. And this impulse, the distance is always going to be the same. The distance is always going to be same from Bennett, from any point on the ellipse. The distance is going to be the same, and it will break the kidney stones into small pieces. So this is a very beautiful property of ellipse that we have used. There are many applications I've shown you too. Okay, now let's understand ellipse using circle. So fixed point. You all know that the circle has only one fixed point, which is the center of the circle. Ellipse has two fixed point. It can be anywhere. So for example, here and here. The fixed point in ellipse are called as foci, and there are two foci. Focus, foci. So it's the plural and singular form. So there are two points for ellipse, two important points, which is called as the foci. Now, distance from the fixed point. Okay, again, this is very important. We have already studied this from the example. In circle, the distance from the fixed point is always the same. From here, from circle, you draw any point on the circle, the distance is the same. If this is 5 centimeter, every point will be 5 centimeter. Similarly, in ellipse, from fixed point, you draw any distance anywhere, the distance is going to be the same. If this distance is 80, this is going to be 80. From anywhere you draw, using those from the foci, any point you draw, the distance is going to be the same. Okay, now that we have studied already all the properties, now let's look at the formal definition. An ellipse can be defined as the locus of all points. Locus of all points, any combination of all points. This is locus of all points in a plane such that the sum of the distance from any two fixed point, the sum of the distance from any two fixed point is the same. What does that mean? Sum of the distance means if this is d1, this is d2. So d1 plus d2 distance is suppose 100. So in this case, this will become d1, this will become d2. This is also going to be 100. Okay, suppose this was 80, this was 20. Going here, it became 30 and this became 70. But addition will always be 100. So sum of 2 points will always be constant, any constant number. Okay, now I'll just show you with the help of animation. Okay, what did I tell you? There is one foci, there is another foci. Okay, and then there is a distance which is a constant distance. So this is an ellipse, the same distance, this distance is also 2a. What is this distance? This is a bigger line. Bigger line is called as the major axis, and this distance is nothing but 2a. Okay, now you have another thing called minor axis. So this line is minor axis because this is a smaller line compared to the bigger line. So this minor axis is 2b, and this distance is going to remain constant throughout. The addition of this distance, the addition of blue lines, is going to remain constant throughout. So we are going to learn this in details, but I have just given you the overview right now. Now let's go ahead and let's see the same thing that I explained. The longer axis is called the major axis and the shorter axis is called as the minor axis. Now let's look at the next thing, and again we're going to discuss this in detail with a lot of graphs. Okay, so this thing, this distance, this is a bigger distance, this is called as the major axis. Now from 0 to this part, suppose this is A, this is B, from O to A, what is the distance? A, correct? From 0 to B, what is the distance? A. So this entire thing is your major axis. So what will be the distance? A plus A, 2A. Similarly, what is the minor axis? The smaller axis. This line is bigger and this line is smaller. So this part is your minor axis. This distance is your B. This distance is your B. So what will be the total distance for minor axis? 2B. Okay. Now we studied something called as foci point. From foci to another foci. So O to F2, the distance is C. From O to F1, the distance is C. So distance between two foci, distance between F1 to F2 is nothing but 2C. Agreed? 2A, 2B, 2C. 2A is the bigger axis, major axis. 2B is the smaller axis, minor axis. And 2C is the distance between two foci. Now one more important thing you should understand here. The coordinate of this point is going to be 0, 0. Agreed? Coordinate of F2. Coordinate of F2 will be C, 0 because it is on x axis. So there is no line for y. So this is 0. Coordinate for this side, negative side, is going to be minus C, 0. Agreed? And one very important thing that I'm going to tell here that you should know is vertex of ellipse. A lot of students think that there are four vertices, this one, AB, and this yellow, four vertices. No, there are only two vertices to the ellipse, and vertices of always the major axis. So this is your vertex and this is your vertex. Okay, now we are going to study that this is called as the horizontal ellipse. and there is something called as vertical ellipse. We are going to study that in detail, but I'm just telling you for now. So in this case, this is the major axis. This is the major axis, correct? Because this side is longer, and this is your minor axis. And then if I ask you vertex, then will you tell me that this is A, let's just name it. This is AB, this is CD. If I ask you what is vertex, will you tell me it is AB? No. The vertex is always of the major axis. So C and D are your vertex. Vertex is always, so I'm just writing it here. You should make a note of this. Vertex is always of the major axis. Okay, very very important point. So I hope this is clear. Major axis 2a, minor axis 2b, distance between foci is 2c. Let's move ahead. Let's move at the equation. So as I promised that we are going to study circle, we are going to use our knowledge of circle for ellipse. So what was the equation of circle that you have been studying since 10th standard? It's x square plus y square is equal to r square. Now I will tell you the same thing applies for ellipse. How? For example, your r is 3 centimeter. Okay. For example, your r is 3 centimeter. So I'm just writing x square plus y square is equal to r square. Okay. R is 3 centimeter means what? There is a circle whose radius is 3 centimeter. Okay. Now see, this 3 square I am dividing on all the sides. So 3 square upon 3 square is nothing but 1. Correct? So can I write 1 here? This is your equation of ellipse. Of course, the denominators are not going to be the same, but the equation of ellipse looks like x square upon a square plus y square upon b square is equal to 1. So it was so simple. If you knew the equation of circle, you can easily get to equation of ellipse. Now, what is ellipse? Ellipse is nothing but elongated circle. If I'm pushing these two boundaries, it will become elliptical, correct? And if I'm pushing the upper boundaries, this is going to be a horizontal ellipse. Horizontal ellipse. And if I'm pushing these two boundaries, this and this boundary, it is going to look like this. This is nothing but vertical ellipse. Correct? So ellipse is nothing but a pushed circle. I'm pushing circle in this side, upper side, I'm getting vertical ellipse. I'm pushing at this side, I'm getting horizontal ellipse. Now we're going to look at interesting graphs to understand better. Okay, so now in this graph, you observe, pause the video, think, what is the radius of this circle? 0 to 4, you see here 4. So 4 is the radius of the circle. Correct? So let's write the equation of the circle. The equation of circle is x square plus y square is equal to r square. Okay. So we are done with the circle part. Now look at the ellipse. It's the same ellipse. See, the circle has all the sides, all the radius is same. So here you have 4, 4, 4. What I did is I pushed this and this. So I pushed this till 6. Okay. So, and this remains 4 as it is. How do I write the equation of ellipse now? Your vertical direction, the major axis, is always A. So this is the bigger axis. Equation of ellipse is nothing but, let me first write the formula. This is the equation of ellipse. And what will be the equation of this graph? X square upon y square is equal to. So what will be A and B? A is always the major axis thing. So this is C, x axis. What is the x axis? 6. So your A is 6 square. For B, what is the coordinates for y-axis? 4. So your B is 4 square. So you see, I have just shifted this circle and it became ellipse. And the important part of this slide is you understood how to write the equation seeing the graph. Okay, now this is a more generalized formula for horizontal ellipse. This is the formula. And for vertical ellipse, now you see the change. That is the most important thing. For vertical ellipse, the formula changes to x square's denominator becomes b square plus what was the measure axis in this case. In the horizontal ellipse, the measure axis is this, so a is here. In case of vertical, the measure axis is this, so a is for y axis. So these are the two equations of the ellipse. Let's look at one more graph to understand better. This time let's look at the vertical example. Again the equation remains same, the radius is 4 everywhere. This time I'm pushing the circle from vertical side. So what has happened is this is 4 and this is 7. Okay. So for vertical, what was the equation? X square plus y square is equal to 1. Beneath x square, what was it? B square. So this was the equation. So x square upon, what is the coordinate of x side? It's 4 plus y square upon a. What is your a? 7. So 7 square. So this is how you write for vertical and for horizontal. Carefully look at these examples. You can always replay the video. One more very important concept. Understand the concept first. This is from my previous video of circle. If you have not watched, you can go and watch it. So this is the general equation of circle. Why and when your center is at 0 comma 0. When your center is, it's a good boy. Okay, good boy, the center is at 0 comma 0. But this person, this center has shifted. This center has shifted to h comma k. From O, which is 0 comma 0, it shifted to h comma k. So what is the modification in the formula of circle? General equation of circle: x minus h, y minus k. So from 0 comma 0, actually the 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 equation for this circle would have been this. So h is your 0, k is your 0. So this is your general equation of a circle. Similarly, for ellipse, can it happen that ellipse's center can be shifted? I'll show you one example. So this is ellipse that we have seen before. 6 6 4 4 and center is at 0 0. What if this is the same? This is the same ellipse. Just in this diagram, I have shifted my center to 1 comma 3. So the new formula will become what? For ellipse, what was the original formula? X square upon a square plus y square upon b square is equal to 1. For shifted center, for shifted center, what is going to be the formula? X minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square. So in this case, your h is 1 comma 3. So h is 1 and k is 3. H is 1 and k is 3. And a and b you already know how to find. A and b you'll have to rework for a and b. You'll have to resolve this. Okay, if this was the case, your a would have been 6 and your b would have been 4. But my main important thing was to make you understand that this is the formula for shifted circles. Okay, and by the graph you can see that this is the same ellipse, just that the center is shifted. So this was 0 0, this was 1 3. So whenever the center is shifted, this first coordinate is h, the second coordinate is k. Okay, understood? Now let's look at the relationship between semi-major axis, semi-minor axis, and the distance between the foci center. What is semi-major? What is semi-minor? Just big terms. It's simple. You have seen what is major axis. R to P is major axis. Half of it. So this was entire was 2A. Half of it is A. So this is semi-major axis. Again, this B, Q to say D. So Q to O and O to D. This is semi-minor axis. And distance between the center and the foci. So this derivation is nothing but relationship between A, which is semi-major axis, relationship between B, which is semi-minor axis, and relationship between C, which is distance from center to foci. So this theorem is going to tell us the distance between A, distance between B, and distance. What is the relationship between ABC? And we use this in a lot of questions, the relationship between A, B, C. So let me show you how do you derive that. Okay, let's get to the question. Okay, let's get to the theorem. Okay, what we are going to do is, let me zoom the diagram for you. So your point P and point Q are on the ellipse, so they're satisfying the ellipse. Point P and point Q are on the ellipse and they are satisfying the ellipse. So we are going to make use of these 2 points. See, take a point P at one end of the major axis, and hence the sum of distance between the points P and foci is what? So what we are going to do is, we are going to calculate F1P, F1P and plus F2P. So this is the major axis, right? So first we are going to look at major axis. We are deriving the relation. So what we are going to do is, we are going to add F1P and we are going to add F2P. Okay. So let's see what the addition comes. Let's add F1P plus F2P. So let's go back to the diagram. Okay. F1P. So this entire distance is F1P. This distance is A, correct? F1P I want. And this distance is C. So F1P is nothing but C plus A. So instead of F1P, can I write C plus A? Okay. Now F2P. What is F2P? F2P is the small distance. How do I calculate F2P? But so F2P I have to calculate. I am just drawing it here. Okay. This is O, this is F2, and this is P. OP entire is A. O to F2 is nothing but C. So what is going to be this distance? Very simple, A minus C, correct? So your F2P is A minus C, which is equal to plus C minus C gets cancelled. A plus A is equal to 2A. So this is about your major axis, correct? Now take a point Q at the end of minor axis. Now the sum of distance between Q and foci is what? Okay. Now let's look at the Q, which is the minor axis. We solved for P, now we'll solve for Q. So as we did F1P plus F2P. Similarly for Q, we are going to do F1Q plus F2Q. F1Q plus F2Q. Okay. Now using the Pythagoras theorem, I'll explain it to you in detail. Okay, let's see how this root of b square plus c square is coming. This is your triangle. This is your minor axis, so it is B. And this is your distance from foci to center, which is C. What does my Pythagoras theorem says? This part is what? Opposite side to 90, it is hypotenuse. So hypotenuse square is equal to side 1 square plus side 2 square. So hypotenuse is equal to the square goes that side, becomes square root. So b square plus c square is the value. Root of b square plus c square is the value of this part. So root of b square plus c square, similarly root of b square plus c square. Okay, so we got the blue lines. And as we calculated for P, F1P plus F2P, we are going to calculate F1Q plus F2Q. F1Q is also root of B square plus C square. This is also root of B square plus C square. So this is nothing but 2 times of root of B square plus C square. So we did for minor axis and major axis. We know both point P and Q are on the ellipse. Hence by definition, we have both the points are on the ellipse. So we can equate this 2a and this 2 root B square plus C square. So I'm equating it. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So your equation becomes a is equal to root of b square plus c square. Okay. So this is the relationship between a, b, c. Or this square root, if you shift this side, this also could be one of the relationship. You can just do whatever you want to do with this equation. I can just shift this plus b square here to minus b square, depending on what type of question he is asking you. So any type you can do. Just remember one of the formula. Just remember this. So using this, you can calculate a, b, or c, anything. Okay. I hope the derivation is clear to you. Let me just zoom out. In case if you want to take a screenshot, you can take it. Okay. Now let's move ahead to what is called as the eccentricity. Simple. People get scared looking at the video, looking at the definition, but it is very simple. I'm going to tell you in the layman terms, in simple terms also, but first understand what the definition is. It is a ratio of distance from the center. So it is nothing but, let me draw it for you. This is your ellipse. Let's go word by word. It is the distance from the center of the ellipse. This is to one of the foci. Okay, to one of the F1. What is that distance? It is C, and one of the vertices. So what I had told you is this is a vertex and this is a vertex. This distance is A, and from center to vertex this distance is A. So it is the ratio of distance of center to the foci upon distance of center to the vertex. So C upon A is the formula. But okay, we understood the formula, we understood what it is. But what does it mean actually? It means how uncircular is the object. For example, eccentricity of the circle is 0 because it is perfect circle. The eccentricity is 0. But the eccentricity of ellipse, it is close to circle. Ellipse is close to circle, but it is not a circle. So eccentricity of ellipse lies between 0 to 1. Eccentricity of a parabola, does it look like a circle? It's not even a complete circle. So eccentricity is 1. And eccentricity of a line, how close a line is to circle? Can I make this line a circle? No. So what is the eccentricity of this line? Infinity. The eccentricity is infinity. So what is the actual meaning of eccentricity is how close your shape or your curve is to being a circle. Okay. So this is the simple meaning of eccentricity. Now let's look at one more derivation or one more important concept, which is latus rectum. What is a latus rectum? First, it is nothing but a distance from a line passing from your foci to touching your ellipse. So these two red lines are your latus rectum. Okay. Now latus rectum, say suppose we denote it by L. So we denote it by L. Okay. And I'm going to derive it. Don't worry. I'm going to derive it in details. Textbook has skipped some steps. So sometimes it becomes difficult for students to understand. So this is your latus rectum L. So this distance is L and this distance is L. Okay, so just focus on L for now. Okay, the actual formula will have to have 2L because this entire line is latus rectum. But for now, just focus on the small part. So this is L. Let me just, for convenience, let us just name it. Let's name this point as A. Okay, what will be the coordinates of A? This L and this C. So coordinates of A is going to be C comma L, correct? Because it is passing x distance is C and y distance is L. Okay. Now can I write previously just a slide before? What did we see? What is the formula of E? C upon A. So instead of C, this is the formula of eccentricity. Instead of C, can I write A into E? So this is the new, this is the coordinate of A, point A. Okay. Now, this is your X. This is your X distance. This is your X distance. And this is your Y distance. Always, how do we write coordinate? If I have something 1 comma 2, what will I say? It is X is 1 and Y is 2. Similarly here. Okay, similar. Now let's write the equation of ellipse. We know that, right? What is the equation of ellipse? X square plus upon a square plus y square upon b square is equal to 1. X and y I have. No, let's put it. X square upon what is okay, x and y I have. So let me put x. X is ae square upon a square as it is. Y is l square upon b square as it is. Okay. So as it is part I'll write in different color. So a square and a square gets cancelled. What is remaining is e square plus l square upon b square is equal to 1. What do I want to find in life? I want to find the value of L, no. So let's isolate L at one side. Okay, this E square plus E square goes that side, becomes minus E square. This division B square goes that side, becomes multiplication. This is my value of L square for now. Okay, now I want to make it very simple. What is this E? I want to remove this E. So what do I know? I know a formula of E, right? So let's just put the formula of E. The formula of E is, since the formula of E is C upon A. So instead of E, I am writing C upon A. E square, so both will get squared. Okay. Now B square. This, how do you simplify this? This will go this side, A square minus C square upon A square. Okay. This is how it is going to be simplified. Now let's look further. Or let's just simplify it in a different way. One more relationship I have. C square. Just go back to few slide and you will find we had derived it somewhere. So a square is equal to b square plus c square. This was the relationship. So let's use it here. A square is equal to, what was it? B square plus c square. But I want to replace c square value. So I'll write a square minus b square. Okay. So b square is equal to 1 minus. So it uses a lot of formula. You will have to write it once by yourself to understand. But I am describing every step in detail. So this video will be helpful to understand the details. So you don't have to mug up anything. So instead of c square, I'm putting this upon a square. Now let's solve it further. So I'm doing very tiny steps. Okay. This a square will go to this fellow and to this fellow. Okay, this and this will get cancelled, will give you 1. So this will give you 1 minus b square upon a square, correct? So this will give you 1 minus this a square will go that side. A square minus b square upon a square. Correct? Or instead of complicating it like this, you can do 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. So you have b square. This minus into minus will give you plus. So you will have b square upon a square. So you have, here you had what? Here you had L. So you'll have L is equal to b square into b square into b square, b raised to 4 upon a square. So when you send this square to this side, it will become square root. Square root of 4 is 2, and square root gets cancelled. So this is your lattice rectum. But what did I tell you? We don't have to find L. We want to find L plus L, which is 2L. This big line, this small line is L, and this small line is L. So this big line is your lattice rectum, so which is 2L. So your lattice rectum becomes 2L is equal to b square upon a square. So this is the formula of your lattice rectum. So if you don't want to go through such big derivation, okay, now my derivation looks even big because I have solved each and every minute step. But in question, you don't have to derive, right? You can always remember the formula for questions. So the formula for lattice rectum is 2L is equal to 2b square upon a square. Okay. Now the most important part is the summary. To solve any question, you need to have the summary in hand with you. Okay. Now let me explain this chart to you. Always step 1. Convert in standard form. What is the standard form? X square upon a square plus y square upon b square is equal to 1. So always make sure that you have is equal to 1 side. That is your standard form. After this only you can start the question. Now, this is one equation. The other equation you had for vertical. You have two types of ellipse, right? This is horizontal and vertical ellipse. Okay. So identify what is A and what is B. The bigger denominator is always A. The smaller denominator is always B. Length of major axis formula is 2A. Length of minor axis formula is 2B. Then he will ask you coordinate of foci. So for that you will have to find C. You want A, you want B, and you want C. So you already have A, you already have B. So using that you can find C very easily. What is the formula for C? We had derived it. C is equal to root of A square minus B square. Now, how do you understand what is the major axis? That also I had explained in the video. I'm just revising. Whatever the bigger axis is your vertex. So in this case, your vertex is C comma 0 minus C comma 0. In case of horizontal. In case of horizontal. In case of vertical, if your parabola is vertical, what is going to be the coordinates? X is 0, correct? So 0 comma 0. Y, this is positive side, so C. This is negative side, so minus C. So this is the coordinate. Eccentricity formula again, we had seen C upon A. Okay? So this, you can, using this you can solve any question. See, using questions, all the steps will be super clear and easier for you. So he is asked to find your coordinate of foci, means C. Then he has asked you to find the length of major axis, which is 2A. Length of minor axis 2B. Eccentricity E. Latus rectum 2L. So this is what, these are all the things, everything possible he has asked you. So good, everything could be revised. So it is already in the standard form. You have one here. So you don't have to convert. Your first step is done. Now compare with the standard formula. X square upon A square plus Y square upon B square is equal to 1. So this is your A square. This is your B square. Okay, comparing with the formula. What is your A then? A square is 25. So A is what? 5. B square is 9. So B is what? 3. So your A and B are done. So this is the first step. Find A and B. Now go to the chart. Length of major axis. What is the formula? 2A. Length of minor axis. What is the formula? 2B. So length of major axis is 2A. So 2 into 5, 10. Length of minor axis is 2B. So 2 into 3, 6. So two parts of your question are already done here. Next, what is he asking me to find? Coordinate of foci means C. What is the formula of C? Root of A square minus B square. So this is your 1, this is your 2. Then for foci, which is length of foci, which is C. So C is equal to root of A square minus B square. Your A was 5 and B was 3. So A square means 25. B square means 9. So 25 minus 9 will give you 16, and 16 root is 4. So C is 4. But he did not ask you to find C. He asked you to find the coordinates. So what was the coordinates I had taught you? For major axis, what was the coordinate? C comma 0 minus C comma 0. So coordinates is equal to C comma 0 and minus C comma 0. So C comma 0 and minus C comma 0. These are the coordinates. Next what is he asking me to find? Eccentricity. What is the formula of eccentricity? C upon A, correct? So eccentricity, C upon A. What was your C? 4. What was your A? 5. This is your eccentricity. Next, what is he asking me to find? Latus rectum. What is the formula of latus rectum? L is equal to 2B square upon A. So 2 into B square. B is 3, B square is 9, upon A was 5. Correct? So 18 upon 5. Last, what is he asking me to find? Vertices. Now, students, I have explained you what vertices is. Vertices is nothing but the coordinate of the major axis. So this distance is A, correct? So vertices is A comma 0 and minus A comma 0. So A value was 5. So vertices is always of the major axis, remember. So vertices is nothing but, in this case, A comma 0 and minus A comma 0. So A is 5 comma 0 and minus 5 comma 0. Vertices are always of the major axis. In this case, this is the bigger axis. Bigger axis means major axis. So all the things we have found out. So this is for horizontal ellipse, but I want to show you one more example. This will be the last example for vertical ellipse also. So you can solve any question that comes to your mind. So this is the equation. Now how did I understand just by the equation that it is vertical axis? Always, what did I teach you in the summary? Always convert in the standard form. So I'm going to divide by, because I want 1 this side, so I'm dividing by 36 everywhere. Okay, so 36 upon 36, 1. Hooray, we are done. Okay, now we will cut from here. So 9 ones are 9 fours are 4 ones are, and 4 nines are 36. So I am done. So here your smaller number is 4 and your bigger number is 9, and bigger number is the denominator for y. So therefore I understood that this is a vertical ellipse. Why? Because bigger denominator is for y. So I have drawn the diagram here for you. So this is 4, this is 4, this is 9, this is 9. Okay. Now compare with the standard formula for vertical ellipse. What is the standard formula for vertical ellipse? It is x square upon y square upon is equal to 1. So this is b square, this is a square. This is the standard formula. So what is your a square? 9. So what is your a? It is 3. What is your b square? It is 4. So b is 2. Okay. So a is 3, b is 2. Okay. Now we have just ignored the diagram here. I have just taken a random diagram to just make you understand it's a vertical ellipse. Okay. Now we have found A and B both. But what is my aim? To find all the things that he has asked me to find. Coordinates of foci, which is C. Coordinates of foci, C. Length of major axis 2A, length of minor axis 2B, and eccentricity, vertices. Okay, he has asked me to find everything. So let's find it. I have found the value of A and so go back. What did I tell you in the summary chart? Major axis formula is 2A, minor axis formula is 2B. So your major axis is 6, your minor axis is 4. Okay, then this is a very important thing. Coordinate of foci. So coordinate of foci means C. What is the formula of C? A square minus B square. What is your A square? 9 minus B square 4. 9 minus 4, 5. So your C is 5. But in the previous question, it is very important to see. Do not skip this step. Listen to me very carefully. In the previous question, the coordinate of foci was on the x-axis. Okay. Here, the coordinate of foci, because this is a vertical ellipse. See, the coordinate of foci, if the major axis is x, but here the major axis in our current question is y. So the coordinate of foci is 0 comma c and 0 comma minus c. Why? That also I had told you. The foci will be somewhere here. This does not have a x-axis at all. So this will be the first coordinate for x-axis will be 0. This is above the positive, so plus c. This is negative y, so minus c. So coordinates of foci will be 0 comma c and 0 comma minus c. So 0 comma root 5 and 0 comma minus root 5. Okay, this is done. Now vertices. Vertices are always of the bigger. So bigger is 9. So vertices, again this diagram, vertices are always of the major axis. So this is the major axis in this case. So vertices are going to be what? Again, this has no x coordinate. So 0 comma a and 0 comma minus a. This is the vertex. What is a in our case? So vertex, answer for vertex is 0 comma a. A is what? 3 and 0 comma minus. So the formula changes according to your vertical and horizontal ellipse. But since see, you have understood the diagram, so you never have to mug up any formula and just draw the diagram and you will understand. Then eccentricity, last part remaining. Eccentricity is nothing but c upon a. So your c was root 5 and your a was 3. So done, students, we are done with a lot of things here, and I will see you in the next video on hyperbola. Stay tuned and keep practicing.